You've brought up sales script several times in past videos. What does that mean? I mean, what exactly is it?
Well, a sales script is more like a practical step-by-step guide specifically designed for the sales team. So if you go into a conversation and just start speaking off the cuff, there's a real chance it could suddenly head in a completely different direction, without you even noticing. Then you'd actually want, right? That's why it's such a smart move to put together a solid sales script, a clear and reliable roadmap to confidently guide you through the conversation and stay fully in control. It basically helps you, first of all, to stay focused and on track throughout the call. When you're chatting with a nice customer, you might easily end up talking about football or darts or whatever. But then again, the business side might end up getting a bit shortchanged. That's why having a sales script is a great idea. You can occasionally digress to other points, bring up different topics even, but I should always circle back to my key topics, the ones I've prepped and written down earlier in my sales script. And the sales script actually offers several advantages you can leverage or benefits that come with it right out of the box. You can clearly define the key topics you'd like to cover directly within the sales script. I can also add in my own personal notes, like, okay, this is exactly where I aim to reach that specific goal, and right here's where I plan to achieve the other one, or maybe even tailor my approach depending on the customer type. So depending on whether I'm talking to target group A or target group B, the sales script might vary a bit. And second, as I've already mentioned in previous videos, the sales script really helps to calm your nerves and take the edge off that anxious, uneasy feeling. When I go into a conversation and I know, all right, I've got something solid to rely on, like a sales script, it just makes diving in so much easier because I know I'm fully prepared and ready to go. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? And you can always remind yourself. Hey, even if a point isn't perfect, if things aren't flowing smoothly or it's not working out, that's totally fine. No big deal at all, really nothing to stress about. I suddenly got way more objections from the client than I expected, then I can just think to myself, okay, that point didn't go well, so I'll move on to the next one, and then it starts all over again, and now I can really pick up momentum, my flow comes back, and I can bring that real energy once more. Otherwise, if I'm just freestyling the entire conversation without structure, I might end up with a pleasant chat, but I'll lose focus on my goals. Plus, if things hit a rough patch, say the client throws more objections at me than expected, or even one major concern, it could easily leave a lasting negative impression. That's why having a clear roadmap keeps me on track and ensures I'm always moving toward the outcome I want. If that objection hits, then the whole conversation kind of falls apart and it becomes really tough to get back to a professional, productive level where trust and focus are restored. And that's exactly what a sales script prevents. It's not just about having a structure or avoiding missed points. It's truly a powerful psychological tool that keeps you confident, focused, and fully in control throughout the conversation. That this sales script, the sales script itself, can truly support me in a solid way.
Exactly, it's kind of a guideline. How should I picture it? Is it like a sheet with a few bullet points or more like a table? So how do I picture?
Basically. You can definitely go that route. Just grab a notebook and pen, jot down your notes, and step by step build your very own guideline to stay on track. Basically, anything that serves the purpose is allowed. Of course, it's better to go with Mr. James and set up a flow form. Think of it as a clear flow chart that visually maps out the entire process from start to finish. You can actually define a flow chart there and then easily drop all your questions right into it. And the great thing about a flow form is I can branch it out. So when I get to a question, or when I'm at the client's place and I'm selling men's and women's clothing, this sales thread might eventually reach a certain point where I need to split it up, asking men different questions than I do women. And when I'm actually speaking with a woman, I can then use the flow form to check in and ask, okay, is it male or female? Then I pick female, get the women's questions, and in the end, it all comes back together. So this really enables me to accurately represent various scenarios within a workflow or flowchart, no matter how complex they might be, in a clear and structured way. If I've got just one piece of paper and I'm simply writing things down mechanically, I can achieve the same thing, of course. Maybe I've got a few different sheets at hand, allowing me to pull up customized sales grids for each specific target audience out there. But it's easier to just take the time once, think it through, and then create a flow form, for example, a flow chart for a specific product. And then, during the call with the customer, while carefully going through the sales script step by step, I can smoothly click through everything and confidently say, okay, male, female, and then in the next step comes, well, I don't know, adult or child. So I can simply store different questions for each of the, how should I put it, strands. And that way I don't have to constantly wonder or double check whether this particular question is even relevant at this moment. Nope, it's not relevant because I don't even need to ask him which toy he'd like right now. He's an adult. That's precisely why. Flow forms are really excellent for this, Mr. James. And plus, I've got the option to have those flow forms stored right there upon contact.
Saves you from all the paper chaos. These flow forms are saved in the contact. How do I access them? Where can I find them?
Yeah, they're actually stored right in the contact in Mr. James, exactly where the feed is located. You know that feed in Mr., right?
Yeah.
James, right? And down there's that line where I can enter my note. You've definitely noticed by the input field a tiny plus symbol. Easy to miss, but there, right? Just click the plus icon, select flow form, simple to use and always there whenever you need it. Then I can pick a pre-made flow form and guide the client through it smoothly, ensuring consistency, confidence, and a seamless experience every single time. So I open the contact, click the plus symbol at the bottom within the feed, then click on flow form, select my flow form, and then literally a new dialog box opens up. A new window. In this window, the flow form is then processed depending on how I've configured it, either as a list or in page or dialog mode. That's actually what we'll call the entire setup here, where individual questions pop up full screen. And yeah, I can simply work through it step by step. And the results are automatically saved directly in the customer's record. So whenever I reopen this contact later, I immediately see in the feed, okay, Kiani completed that flow form today on September 29th, and I can instantly pull up the answers. No more stressing about where I actually put that important piece of paper anymore. I filled out some form or other, answered a bunch of questions, whatever happened to it. But I can also jot down the customer's responses right away, directly while we're in the middle of the conversation. The final result gets saved directly into the contact's profile, meaning I never have to spend time on additional filing or archiving tasks. And everything gets automatically filed exactly where I'd most likely go looking for it down the line without me lifting a finger.
Mr. James Kids easily attracts and keeps new customers.